Alrighty, so welcome. My name is Ria Waller. You are taking CIT28 Client Server Databases here at City College, 100% online 18-week, we call it a full semester course. And in this course, you're going to learn about how to write code to interact with databases. Now, the name client server actually may be completely new to you. You're in the right place. You may bring some knowledge about what that means. But really, here's what I want you to walk away with understanding what you're going to learn in this class is how to write code. SQL is the type of code you're going to write, structured queried language, to interact and sometimes create databases. And in this case, we're going to use a type of database that's called SQLite 3. It's a free open source, widely used database. Okay, but in this way, you're at the front door of the course, right? Because it's an online course. This is like you walking up to the door, opening it up, and now you've looked at, oh, here's the course. Here's what it looks like to come into the course. The one thing you will notice right away is that I have announcements at the top, and these will always stay at the top. And my course is organized in modules, okay? And we'll go over that as we get into the course. But what I'm going to do as we go through some of these first, and this I call this the week 0. Right? So this is, my hope is that you're going to see this before the start of the semester. If you're seeing it the first day of the semester, you're not late, but you will need to at least work through these items, especially this one, in order to get the next one, which means week 1 started. Okay, so one thing you're going to see me do, and this is fairly common, like I'm here in Canvas, I'm in a browser, and what I do is when I want to look at items, now you don't have to do it this way, but this is how I do it. I will right click and then I will say open in a new tab. And that's because oftentimes in a course like this, you may have several tabs open that you're working through, clicking through, so to speak. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is right now I'm looking at Canvas as an instructor, but I'm actually going to look at it the way you look at it. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to say view as student. So now what's this going to change? Well, it still looks somewhat the way it did before, but it does look different. So in this case, there's a little dot by announcements. All that means is you haven't looked at it. Okay, now what will be here as we get into the course content and there's something I feel like, oh, I really want to make sure you have this information. As an example, when Brianna's tutoring hours become available, I will post something here. When I've graded a particular item or something I see in several student submissions, I will post this here. When I have gone through and graded things, I will post, hey, heads up, I've made it through those items. Now, this is just a good place to kind of check in. In order to read the entire announcement, you have to click in, and that will take you to announcements. And when you go to the home, then you come back here. Okay? So, and in this case, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm actually going to do this again because the other thing you will see about my course, and this is something that you may have not taken a course organized this way. Maybe you have as far as modules go, so each week is generally a module. But in my case, I require you to move through the items in order of which they're listed. And that's why you see that the first one is highlighted, but the other three in this case are grayed out. And what that means is you have to go to the first one. In order to get to the next one, you actually, in this case, have to submit this one. And in these two, all you have to do is view them, okay? And actually, I should have view on Brianna's as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead, because I like to be able to come back and forth. I'm going to go to the welcome. Okay, so here you are, and you have already, you've clicked in here. I'm just giving you kind of the lay of the way the course is laid out. All right, so let's come back around to what I started with, which is, what are we here for? And when I say welcome aboard, right, the one thing I want to be specific about is SQL, the thing I mentioned before that you're going to learn in this course, is an exceptionally high demand. And in the day at which we live, in this case, I'm actually at the end of 2025, I'm actually right before New Year's. And in this time, you may think you're not wrong in thinking this, given the things we're hearing, is that coding of any type is no longer going to be needed. And that's just not true. I mean, there's definitely still, and in this case, we're getting, and you can see in this case, we're getting an AI overview. I'm using Google. Google has its own built-in AI chat LLM, large language model, and it's giving me the answer to, right, SQL skills demand. It's extremely high. Now, is AI affecting this? Absolutely. AI is affecting everything. But you, as a student, still, and really just as somebody who wants to work in the technology field, still needs to be able to write SQL and definitely understand if somebody gives you, in this case, when we put all the commands together, we call that a query. Somebody says, here, I want you to do something, maybe modify this query, right? You would need to understand what that means, or what parts, what does a query, how is it, what is it made up of? All right, so, you can click on this, take a little deeper dive here. I'm not going to do it now, right? Still a key skills recruiter are looking for in 2025 and beyond. Okay, so just to tell you, as I had started with, what you're going to learn, and this course is the fundamental course for both the web developer program and for the data analytics, and I believe for one other CIT program as well. Now, having said that, I am providing this semester an additional link, and it's a video. I'm not going to absolutely require you watch this, but I would definitely highly recommend you do, because I think it speaks to what I see with the way it is just so natural in some ways to have these systems that will just give you an answer and allow it to give you an answer without you authentically interacting with the course and course material or whatever that is. Insert XYZ there. But in this case, I want you to have an understanding, because your use of AI in this course is, and you'll see there will be times some of these assignments we do will have it, right? No, you'll actually interact with an AI chatbot in this course. But in this idea that I'm trying to impart is that there's a paradox where we're outsourcing too much. We're relying we're relying too much on AI and not learning to develop those skills for ourselves. And this course is intended to give you a skill, right? So know that going in. Now, good news, the course material completely free. I've been using now for the second year Harvard's course on SQL. My students in the past have told me they really enjoy this course. I'm thinking they're going to update it next semester soon, but I will continue this semester using it in the 2024 version. It's still relevant, and we will be using that. You will see that I will take some of their starting points for some of what we call the problem sets for that course, and I will modify them, or I'll give you a different thing you need to work through. So just know most of what is completely what we'll use is their lectures. Okay, so how is this course set up, right? So this course is set up with attendance. You'll have, now in my case, attendance is actually graded. You'll have code-alongs you'll do. Now when this says code-along, you're actually going to be following along with the lecture, sometimes taking notes, sometimes actually coding SQL, and it will vary. And then you'll have problem sets, and this is where you'll be given a database and problems to solve, right? And the other thing is you will have a technical interview, okay? So this will be a part of the course where you will come in for an interview with me to actually demonstrate. I will give you, hey, solve this problem, write SQL. I will give you a technical interview, because you are now starting your path, your journey into being in tech. And a tech interview is the way often during interviews or various other places, maybe in an existing job you're trying to get promoted, or just you're having a technical interview where somebody assesses how well you know know how to actually do the thing that you're being asked to demonstrate. And in this case, it's SQL. So I say this at the beginning for you to understand. That's why it's important you authentically do the work for the course. Because if you rely too heavily on AI, when it comes to my technical interview, it will be a bigger, much bigger challenge to pass my technical interview, which is 25% of the course grade. Now, I'll talk about when these start. By the way, FYI, they start about the middle of the semester, run till the end. They'll have a schedule, right? So you'll know all about this as we move into the school schedule, okay? All right. So there's something in the course, and you've seen this, I'm hoping, before, called the syllabus. And in my case, I use something called the simple syllabus. And I definitely recommend that you go check out the simple syllabus because it gives you a more detailed coverage as far as how this course is broken down as far as the grade goes. And it's just like any course, it is really the contract. I don't know, make contracts maybe not the right word. The agreement we have on the way this course is conducted. And I should say agreement's probably not right either because it's my, like, here's how this course, here are the guidelines for the course, here's the grading, here's the things I expect, and more detail. As an example, one of the things you're going to see in there is that I offer students late passes because I have due dates scheduled every week. If you miss a due date, you can use, I give you 2 passes, but by the way, you can actually earn more during the semester by getting help. And that's a really important thing for a course like this where you're acquiring a skill, is actually to reach out to myself or Brianna, or in this case, I also offer a Discord server for you to get additional help because you want to be able to interact, talk about SQL, okay? And those opportunities are really great ways to practice for a technical interview. Okay, now if you happen to be taking another course of mine, I just want you to know I do not recommend students take CIT93, which is JavaScript, and this course at the same time. Over the last 2 years since I picked up this course in my schedule, I've had 2 students attempt it. Actually, a few more than that, but only 2 actually make it to the end, and only 1 has successfully navigated both courses. Now, I say this because of the workload of the 2 courses. I do not recommend taking them at the same time. If you want to ask me about that, please do. Just know coming in, it's not it definitely, I do not recommend. I've given you the dates here for the semester. And just know those are campus holidays. Know that, and as we move into the course and you see how it's laid out, you'll see that immediately in the week 1 as far as the due dates go. Just know anytime there's a campus holiday, I move the due date to the next actually day, the actual weekday when the campus is now open. Okay, so now this item, as I said before, is actually a item that you actually have to do something in order to move to the next item. Okay, so what's the thing you have to do? So in this case, we're going to use something called GitHub, which is out on the web. It's a web-based site, but it's also a platform in this case. It's used by almost the largest percentage of people coding in the world use this site. It's been owned for several years by Microsoft. It's a free platform. So in this case, I've given you a link here to it. I'll just open it here. Okay, so now I'm already logged in, right? So what I could do here is actually could go, and this is, by the way, not a bad thing to know as well, is I'm going to come into an incognito window, okay? And what that means is none of my authorization, my pre-authentication is now in, and I'm in it as you will see it. So what you will do, now, by the way, if you do have a GitHub account already, you can totally use that, totally no problem, okay? If you don't, you're going to create one. And in this case, you'll sign up. Okay. Now, even if for some reason you, and by the way, you can use your Google login, but you can also give it your email. I don't care one way or the other. Do not, it used to, I haven't had to create an account in a little while, but I know it used to along the way, it would say, hey, do you want to have a pro level account? And you definitely don't need to do that. You just need to go all the way through the process of creating an account. Now, once you get that, you will have a username. So as an example for mine, if I now come back here and I just open it in a new tab, okay? So my account here, if I click here to my, okay, oh, I'm not going to set my status, actually. I'm just going to go here. So you can see my username is here, which is Rio Waller. So that is, and if I just go /, okay, that's my particular version, right, or my homepage, so to speak, of GitHub. And that username is what is you need to give me so that I can invite you into the course. We have a course organization. So in this case, I'm looking at my individual space on GitHub, but we will have a course organization, our own organization that you will need to be invited into in order to create what's called the repos. You can kind of think of them right now as a kind of a sophisticated folder or an upgraded folder because it does a lot more than just what your traditional folders and files do. It does actually version control. But in this case, that username, coming back here, is what you're going to end up giving me, right? So you'll hit start assignment, right? And then in this case, all you have to do here and just give me that username, whatever it is you created, okay? And then just submit the assignment. Now, when you do this, right, you get this nice little confetti, right? And what happens here, and I just want to show you this, like, well, I could just show you here. So now you could actually move on to the next item. And in this next item, I'm not going to have a video, but I have asked the students in the prior semester, at some point towards the end of the semester, I said, hey, listen, we have students coming into this spring 2026 semester, and I want you to give them your feedback on how to succeed in this course, because really they are the best people to give you feedback. And I've often noticed student-to-student feedback can be the most effective. So what I did here, and you have a link to all the feedback they provided, but I had Gen AI, because this is a good use. By the way, generative AI uses LLMs in order to create chatbots that you interact with. So in this case, I took all that content and I said, summarize this. So here are the things that I definitely say, stop here, check this out, okay? Read these in detail. Matter of fact, I would recommend going and looking at the actual raw feedback to show you I didn't just have AI make this up. This is actually from the students who have actually completed this course in the past. Okay, so that's the next item. Now in this case, and this is also why I'm here, is that this one just has to be viewed, right? And then let me refresh this just to show you, because what will happen here, and you'll learn this as you move through the course, is as you complete things, then the next things open, right? Okay, so now in this case, if we go back here, right, the next thing that would be is Brianna. Now in this case, at the time I'm recording this, we don't have Brianna's current schedule. She will have an updated video and content for you related to her availability. And then the last item that for the week 0, just the getting ready, is Discord. So I have a short video you can check out for that as well. Okay, so coming back here. So welcome to the course. I'm glad you're here. I want you to get started on the right foot. The goal of this video is just to give you a brief overview, tell you what SQL is, tell you how the course is run, give you the, AI is great. We all are using it, I'm guessing. And actually, some of you may not be, and that's fine too. But just to understand the paradox of using AI in a course where you're acquiring a skill. Okay, and just to give you, like, this is the way the course works. So now that you've watched this, get that GitHub username, submit that. Check out the words of wisdom. Hopefully by the time you get here, Brianna's schedule will be here. Check out the Discord because it's another great way to connect with your classmates. By the way, not with me, but with them. With me, it's still the traditional inbox and Canvas. So like on Discord, you can't message me directly. So once you get through those items, then you will actually get to the week 1, which is your first week of actual work. All right, glad you're here. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you later.